Alrighty guys, welcome to another YouTube video. My name is Rylan. Most of you guys know me as Bone Codes. And today I'm going to be talking about my story and kind of my entire journey, the challenges I've been through and everything I've done in between to get me to this point. I'm now living in an amazing house in Scottsdale with two other roommates, one of them being my business partner. And there's just been a lot of things that have happened, a lot of events that have happened that I had doubt in the current times, but it ended up working out for me. So my story really started when I was super young. Let's go back to when I was 10 years old. I'm currently 19 years old.
Hey guys, this is my first YouTube video. I'm gonna be doing like a variety of things, like how most YouTubers just do like either gaming or like crazy activities and stuff. I'm gonna be doing both.
And I've always been, a lot of people say this, they've always been a hustler, they've always been an entrepreneur or whatever, but I truly have been. When I was like 10 years old, I was making homemade salsa and going and selling it at bars and stuff. I was playing poker and learning it like that. And then when I was 13 and 14 years old, I was an electrician. Now, I wasn't actually old enough to get paid for a job yet, so it was all under the table, it was just cash. I was an electrician, I was wiring homes, up in attics for 12 hours a day, and it was absolutely brutal. So after that, I did a little bit of tile work, and then I finally just started doing my own thing. And I started off just cleaning yards and just doing side hustles here and there to make money. I was always making money, and I had just a bunch of cash saved up because I wasn't old enough for a bank account yet. But it was a great time, and I've always just had like that hustler's mindset. I've always enjoyed going out and making money, and I've also just enjoyed learning things from it and filling my days with positive tasks rather than just sitting out and doing nothing. Now I will say, like everyone, I went through a gaming phase. I played a lot of Fortnite back then as well, but I was working a lot. And I soon got into window cleaning. Was like my first thing. It was going into freshman year of high school, or it was actually, no, it was freshman summer, so getting out of my freshman year of high school. And I was 15 turning 16, and I was doing window cleaning with a buddy of mine. And that summer I learned so much, and I learned how much you can truly make with home service and how much you can truly make on your own. We were out door knocking every single day and just running up window cleaning. Our first ever job, actually. So first ever day we went door knocking, we got this job. It was like a $400 job, and this job should have been like $1,200. These windows were like 20 feet in the sky, big triangle windows, and we did not do the best job. This was our first ever day out door knocking. It was like the third house we knocked, and we secured this job. No wonder he said yes, because it should have been 3 times the amount we charged. And we got our asses kicked, absolutely brutal. But anyways, after that, we did more door knocking. Actually sent a few estimates for commercial jobs, but then I had to go back to school. I had to go into my sophomore year of high school, and he wanted to continue. I couldn't because I had school, and he was doing it full time. So we kind of split ways, and I finally got into landscaping, which I talk a lot about on my current social media page. And with the landscaping, like everyone, I started just door knocking again. I did what I learned from the window cleaning, just going out door knocking and getting jobs for that day or that week. And that's how it started. And then I slowly got into door hangers because it was a lot faster, and I was paying other people to go out and hang door hangers for me while I was working on the jobs till dark every single day after school. And I slowly got into finally hiring people. And the way I did was my calendar was very booked, and I was actually talking to my dad about it, and he was like, you can just go onto Facebook and make a post, and you'll find someone to hire. And I always wanted to hire people out once I got to that stage, and I was finally getting to that stage where I was too busy. I couldn't take on more jobs, and I was getting kind of burnt out. And so I made a Facebook post. I had like 10 people call me. A lot of people were not qualified at all. And I made my first 2 hires ever. The first one obviously did not work out, but the second one did. And then I got my 3rd hire, so I had 2 people working at once. And I started just really running up the landscaping. I was buying equipment. I had, riding lawn mowers and I had 2 riding lawn mowers. One worked really well, one did not end up working out, and I drove like 12 hours to get it and spent a lot of money on it. But that's business. And then I had a dump trailer, I had a flatbed trailer that ended up breaking, lost money on that as well. I also had a box trailer that I sold, and then I had a van, and the van is what all the guys took to the jobs. I just got this van, and then I got the magnetic just stickers you can put on the side with our logo on it and our phone number, and they would take that while I was in high school to a bunch of jobs, and it was a blast. There was definitely a lot of things I learned and a lot of mistakes I made during the process, but that's just business. And soon I had these 2 guys that were working, and then this 3rd guy that was kind of the manager. His name was Brad, and it was a good team. We had the 3 guys going to jobs. Brad was doing like the bigger, more expensive jobs. The other 2 dudes were just doing rock jobs, little jobs, cleanups like that. And Brad was doing like pavers and turf and all these other things. So we ran that up for a while. It was an absolutely amazing gig. I learned a lot from it. I bought my first truck on my own, which was a Ram 1500 for $4,000, or I bought it for $3,500. The day or 2 days after I bought it, I took it to a shop, paid them $800, so I'm all in like $4,300. And then the first day I take it out on the job, it blows up, and I'm on the side of the highway. Luckily, I know a guy that owns a tow truck company, so I was only out like a Gatorade or $50 on that, which was dope. But anyways, had to sell the truck for $1,000, so that was like a $3,000 hit right there. And that's just business. Like, everything you do in life, you're going to take hits, but you're going to also learn from it. That was my first lesson of learning. You pay for what you get. If you pay for something cheap, then you're going to get something cheap. And that was a big lesson for me. But anyways, I continued with the landscaping and slowly got into stocks. And during the winter, we were doing snow shoveling. But the second winter in, so this is junior year, I bought a plow truck. And so going into like junior year winter, I bought a plow truck. And this year we of course had no snow. So I bought this plow truck for I don't know, like $2,500 or $3,000, and it was a good truck. It was a 1991 F250 7.3 diesel with a plow on it. So it was a great truck, and not too many miles, probably like 170,000, which isn't a lot for the 7.3 diesels. And I bought that, never used it once because we had no snow. Sold it for profit of like $2,000. I sold it for like $5,000 or $5,500. Put that all into XRP, and then made like another, I don't know, I like doubled it with XRP. It was a good return. Anyways, this is like when my whole stock market journey really started. Now through this whole process, I was doing like crypto and Robinhood and stuff like this, but this is when I really started getting into day trading and on Robinhood, and then futures as well. But that's why I honestly got out of the landscape business. After I sold that plow truck, I ended up just selling everything, and I was seeing a big return in just stocks. So I was all in on the stock market, and me and a buddy did it together, and we ended up turning, we just put like 4,000 or 6,000 into a Robinhood account, turned that into 20,000, and our biggest day was when we went from like, I don't know, 12 to 20,000. We made like $8,000, and these were on just stocks on Robinhood. We were doing 100% days and 30% days consistently. And then once we turned it to 20,000, we slowly lost it down to like 16 or 14,000, and we were pretty pissed off because you have to get to 25,000 to day trade on Robinhood. So we took it to meme coins and then absolutely rinsed it all, which is crazy. And yeah, that was kind of brutal. Learned another lesson, which is to respect money. If you don't respect money, then it won't respect you, and you're gonna lose it all. So I got into full-time day trading after that, moved out on my own into an apartment, and I was living in that apartment by myself for 5 months. And then I met Michael, which is one of my roommates that I live with, and I just met him at a party actually, and he was talking about stocks. I started talking to him about it as well. We met up a few times, and we were just like, let's get a house together. And I was actually out of town when we signed the lease to this house. I didn't even want to look at this house because I wanted to look at other houses. But the great thing about this place is all of the bedrooms are super big, and that was like the main thing that we were struggling with. There'd be one master bedroom, and then the other ones are just so tiny, and it was unfair to the other roommate. So we ended up signing this lease. He looked at it, he sent me a video. He was like, "This is the one." I'm like, "All right, bet." So I signed the lease without seeing it, came back, saw it, and it was a dope house. So it was me and Michael. I signed it, and then we needed another roommate. And also, I had someone reach out to me that wanted to start doing business, and I was already doing futures day trading. Oh, also in the past, I forgot to even mention this in my story, but during the landscaping stuff, I was using my profits to build apps, and I was developing apps, putting them in the app store, and ultimately, I lost money because of a big mistake I made. Pretty much, we got this app with 5,000 users on it. It was only like a $5 a month subscription, but we didn't set up the payments correctly, so we missed out on like $25,000, which is kind of brutal. But whatever, another lesson learned. In business and life, you take a lot of hits, and yeah, I could look back and be like, holy cow, I could have another $50,000 if I didn't make all these mistakes. But also, you learn from the mistakes, and it's gonna make you more money in the future anyways. But where were we at? Oh yeah, so I had someone reach out to me, which is now my current business partner, and I live with him as well. And he reached out and was like, I want to move to Arizona, and I want to start running the sub. And it was a mix between software and day trading. I was already doing the day trading, and I've already done software development in the past. And so, yeah, we teamed up on that, and that's what is now known as Capital Rush. We've been working on this for over 9 months now, and that's just kind of where we're at. It's what I do full time is Capital Rush and trading. And my whole story has, consisted of a lot of losses or a lot of turning points when it comes to losing money on trucks and trailers and the stock market and whatever it may not be. But I'm so grateful for all those things, because when I look back at it now, it's not only a great memory, but it's a lot of great lessons I've learned, and it's saved me a lot of money now. I look at something, or when I go and do something, I'm like, wait, I've learned this lesson before. This could cost me $5, $10, $15,000, so I'm not going to make that mistake again, because that's, if you don't learn a lesson, then it's going to continue to repeat itself until you learn it, and that's something I've realized. So that's currently where we're at, 19 years old, and living in this house. Going to be here for another 6 months or 5 months, and then we'll see where we go next. I don't think I'm going to renew here, because I do want to most likely move out to Florida, which I haven't spoken about much, but kind of want to go out to Florida, most likely get a house out there. I've already lived the high-rise life, but I do like houses a lot, and yeah, that's where we're at. So thank you for watching this video. That's my story, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.